Hey guys, it's Coach Brittany here, and I am giving you guys your love letters in video form this week. So if you have been a member here for a while now, you might have noticed that you have been getting a lot of emails from me in the past. And one of the emails that I would send out, I would try every other week, is what I would call my love letters. And love letters are basically any education piece that has to do with CrossFit or health and wellness, or nutrition, that kind of stuff. So usually it's in an email form, all typed out. This week I thought I would try something different and do a video instead. So please let me know which one you like better. I thought this would be a great way for you guys to multitask if you guys wanted to, and be meal prepping and listen to this. Or you guys could be driving your car and listen to this as well. But yeah, just let me know which one you guys prefer, and I might do whichever one you guys like more often. Okay. So this week for our love letters, I want to talk about how to run the leaderboard. So CrossFit is super unique in the fact that we have basically this unbiased data that we get from doing CrossFit, and not a lot of other exercises really have that. So what I mean by we have this unbiased data is that every once in a while we do different benchmark workouts, and we repeat these benchmark workouts so we can see how our fitness is evolving. We also have the open that we test out every single year too, and that can also show us what's been going on and how our fitness levels have changed throughout the year. The other thing that's super unique to CrossFit is it brings competition to the table. So if you're someone who's done sports in the past, you probably really thrive in this environment where you have someone right next to you, or you have this leaderboard that you're basically accountable to and that you have to tell what your scores are. However, what I see a lot of times happening is that the leaderboard ends up running the person, and the athlete doesn't really run the leaderboard the way that it should be run. So I want to give you guys some tips or some thoughts on how to run the leaderboard so the leaderboard doesn't run you down. So one of the first things is that in order to effectively improve yourself fitness-wise and your scores on the leaderboard, you have to have a goal in mind, no matter what. That's usually where most things start. So if you don't have a goal yet, that's okay. You basically know now that you should probably come up with some sort of goal. And now you have time to kind of sit down and really think about it. You should also tell someone what your goals are once you have figured out what that's going to be. This is why we have our sit down, like our one-on-one goal sessions. So we can sit down together. You can have someone, aka a coach or myself, keep you accountable for your goals. And then not only that, but we make a plan. So just like if you're driving somewhere new, you're not just gonna get in the car and just start going without a plan there, or without knowing what you need to hit and what gas stations you're probably gonna have to stop at. Same idea with your goals. You need to sit down, you need to have a plan, you need to know how far you're gonna go, that kind of stuff. So being able to have this one-on-one talk and talk about it together and devise a plan is really important for you to actually get to where you want to go. And then we can help you also execute that goal. A lot of times someone will tell me that they have a goal of, let's say, losing weight, and then they come to the workouts, and instead of doing the workout to the stimulus, they're more worried about lifting heavier weights, which isn't going to necessarily get them where they need to go or where they want to go. So sometimes we see the shiny objects as we're going, and we're like, oh my gosh, look at that. Like, I really want to be able to lift that. And we kind of veer off track a little bit. And so as coaches, it is our job to be like, hey, you know what? Like, actually, I really think what's going to help you in the long run is if we strip off some of that weight a little bit and we focus on actually kind of moving a little bit faster through this, rather than doing one, staring at the weight for a little while, doing one again, and only getting 20 reps in the workout when really the workout was intended to get 120 reps in it. That also being said, there's 3 main ways that you can go. A lot of people will go with their goals that they want to compete. That is one facet. Another goal that a lot of people have is that they want to lose weight, lose body fat. And then another one is health general like health and wellness, and then another one is probably like to gain muscle. So those are the 4 different ones. And depending on which category you're in, your workout might change a little tiny bit. So if we're doing a longer workout and if you want to gain strength, I might have you actually lift heavier weights than what you really intended to, or even what the stimulus might say, just so that we get that little extra push into getting strength. Now, if someone is going for weight loss, I might keep them down a little bit lower in weight, but ask them to make sure that they keep a sustained heart rate as they go, and there really isn't a time where they are like bending over, dying, and they're just staring at the barbells for almost a minute. If someone wants general health, then we might not even need to do things like squat snatches. You don't really need to squat snatch in order to be a healthy human being. So we might, if there's squat snatches in a workout, take that out and do maybe squat cleans instead. So based off of your goals, your workout might look different compared to what your friends are. Now, also remember that that also means that you can't come in here and look at your friends' scores or look at your friends' weights and think that that's the same weight that you should be doing, because their goals might be different than what your goals are, and the coach might have asked them to do something a little bit different because we're trying to help them accomplish their goals. So keep in mind that that changes the leaderboard, and that's what your friends are doing are not necessarily what you should be doing. Another really big thing is that the leaderboard can totally shift your mindset. And I'm coming to you with this one from personal experience. So being on the competitive side, the leaderboard meant a lot to me, whether it was in the open or like every day-to-day workout. I would see someone score and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like I have to beat that, or I have to lift heavier weight. And if I didn't do that, I felt like that whole workout wasn't worth it, or that I wasn't getting fitter. And if you don't know me yet, my default is to go to crying. So I would just start crying. Hi, Carmen. I would just start crying all kinds, and it would really affect me the next day. My CNS would be shot just because I had such an emotional dump and my stress levels were so high based off of my performance in a workout. When really, my scores compared to my friends' scores have nothing to do with what I can control. I can only control my efforts. I can't control what they're doing. So it's not very healthy mentally for you to be comparing yourself time after time after time. Definitely use it as like a marker and be like, okay, like, you know, this is something that I think that I can hit. And based off of what they do, maybe I can be doing around this much, but that is not your value, is your score. Another thing to remember is that there are certain times where you should compete and there are certain times when you should practice. And when you're doing every day-to-day workout, that is really your time to practice. And what I mean by this is a lot of people come into every single workout wanting to compete. They are ready to basically die and be on the ground like gasping for air just to be number one on the leaderboard. But if you do that day after day after day, you're only going to run yourself down. And pretty soon, you're going to not be able to work out day after day after day. And Susie, that's on the side over here, who has been doing the workouts to the stimulus, been focusing on her form and technique, giving like 80%, maybe not 100% death every single day, is probably going to outwork someone who goes really hard and then is out for a couple weeks. Workout times is really your time to practice. It's to look at your goals, to look at where you're struggling. Maybe you struggle with your technique on an Olympic weightlifting movement, or maybe it's in rope climbs. And maybe in your workouts here, the goal during those workouts isn't to be the first one done, but it's really to slow yourself down on that stuff and think about how you can improve it, so that when the open comes around, or a benchmark comes around, or you're competing at a competition, those are your times to really compete. And now, because you spent all that time here at the gym practicing your feet work, practicing your technique, you get to really show that off during these times of competition. those are the times, or that's when you really get to push really hard. But here in the workouts is when you get to hold back and actually get better at something. Okay, so that's the other thing that I want to make everyone aware of, is your time in the gym is your time to practice, improve technique, improve form. And when we have benchmark workouts, when the open comes around, that is the time that I really want you to push yourself. Then when we have that data, we can sit down and take a look at it, say like, hey, I spent the whole year practicing this. This is where I got to. Now what is the next step? Maybe we still need to practice that, or maybe you're at a spot where like you've actually accomplished what you wanted to do. So now we can go ahead and look at something else and get better and improve on that and spend another couple months improving that technique on that one thing. And that's the thing with CrossFit, is there's always something to be working at, to get better at, to improve on. But if you're competing every single day, you're not going to get that chance to improve on those things. You're going to stay pretty consistently where you're at. The last thing that I do want to say about all this stuff is that it is important to keep track of your stuff. Data is important because it is absolutely unbiased. There's a lot of times where people might say like, yeah, you know, I've been coming in the gym 3 times a week and I feel like I've really gotten a lot fitter, but like they aren't tracking anything. And if you aren't tracking, then you don't really know. You're basing it all off of feel. And it is much easier to see where you're going if you have those numbers right out in front of you and if you can see them with that unbiased fashion. So with that being said, make sure that after your workouts that you are inputting your scores still, that you're putting them into the Zen Planner app so that we can go back and look at things and test and retest and evaluate and sit down together and figure out where you can become better. That's basically what I have to say about the leaderboard. So a quick reminder, make sure that if you haven't made up a goal, that you take time to make up goals and that you schedule a one-on-one meeting with us so that you can express your goals to us and we can help you come up with a plan. When you come in to do your workouts, your job is to not necessarily beat yourself up and go balls to the wall every single time, but it is to take a step back, figure out one thing that you can work on or practice on in that workout. And then when the open comes around, or it's a benchmark workout, or if you really feel freaking great and you're like, I've been working on this for so long, I really want to test myself, that is the time to push really hard and see if you've really honed in on those technique and those skills. Also remember that the score isn't really your value. It just gives you some data and lets you know things that you can improve on, or places that you can focus on a little tiny bit more. So if there's anything else that you would like me to talk about, or any one of our coaches to talk about, whether it's CrossFit, mobility, nutrition, sleep, anything at all, please hit me with an email, let me know, and we would love to do a video on it or an email little blurb write-up on it. And if we don't have the answers, then I will do my best to reach out to someone that I think does have the answers and try to ask them so we can get that information out to you. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the gym. Bye.